All right. Tonight we are looking at Wargame Design Studios Tunisia 43, Panzer Campaign Series. I am looking at the End in Africa scenario, which is basically the point at which the Axis army was nearly defeated in North Africa. I got Tunisia 43 kind of on a whim, just because I think it looks cool. I like the terrain and kind of the nature of the campaign itself. In truth, I do not know very much about the Tunisia campaign, the North Africa campaign, but I really like the look of the map. I liked kind of the breadth of the game. So I've been poking around trying to figure out what my next campaign is, and I think that this is going to be the one. I have selected, and it is worth noting on these. So there's this variant campaign, which is like 4 times as long as the default campaign. And apparently, the variant campaign, I was reading through the design notes for it, and it's really in depth. Whoever made this guy, Cesar Moreno, he obviously put a lot of effort into it, but like the campaign is 4 times as long. So I'm just going to play the out-of-the-box scenario, although I did make one modification, which they even say here somewhere in this description. Yeah, for more or less challenge, adjust the scenario length in the editor. Note also the axis, blah, blah. So what I've gone and done, I actually kind of grabbed the notes from the design notes from this variant campaign, from this variant scenario, and I extended the campaign, this scenario, by 16 turns, which in this particular game is 2 days. The time set up for Tunisia 43 is different from a lot of the other Panzer campaign games. Anyhow, I'm looking at this too much. So I've got this modified scenario. It's 68 turns instead of 52. I truly don't know. Like, I haven't played this scenario, so I don't know what effect that will have. I think it's kind of a winner scenario anyhow, although in this variant campaign he talks a lot about, like, I don't know, just things weren't really presented in this way in actuality and historical accuracy. Anyways, I still think that this looks like a really cool scenario to play. So what I'm doing tonight, I've already kind of gone through and I've looked at the individual units at the kind of institutional, the army level, the corps level, and the division level. And just to kind of illustrate, like, my particular process, the way that I work is that I've got this sheet here where I kind of label all of the different divisions, and I will make notes where applicable. I'll put other notes, and basically I just like to have a notepad to write things down so that I can remember to take certain actions. I have a second monitor over here as well. I'm going to change my settings slightly to account for that. If you're not used to playing this game, you're probably terribly lost right now, but this video is not super duper intended for complete newbies. I do, however, have another video on my channel talking about, like, kind of just how this game plays. This is going to be a planning session. So all that being said, I think I'm going to get started here in a second, and we've got the British and American forces. So starting with kind of what I found was the most annoying one. This is the Corps Franc d'Afrique, which I have labeled as such here. They are part of the 5th Corps in the 1st Army. So let's see. 5th Corps is located over here on the jump map. You can see kind of their area of operation, but really their units are only extended north as far as here until you look up here. So this French unit is going to be basically separated from their corps, and that's going to be annoying for their supply. But I have a plan for them, so let's take a look at what I want to do. So they're starting out on this Highway 7, and everybody's heading to Tunisia, but what I want to do is get them to cover my flank on, I think this is Varsity down here. That's part of the American Second Corps. So they're going to kind of cover the flank in this area. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. Let's see. Yeah, I can. So in this area, north of Highway 7, like basically I want them to act as a filter for the units that are going to be advancing south of them. So that they'll kind of saunter up this particular road here, and they're going to secure Sidi Farjani, which I'll apologize in advance for all my butchering of the pronunciation. So they'll cut off this area here, secure that. Then they're going to move through here. I want to... There's this lowlands here, the river valley or the stream valley here, and really what I want to do, because the highway is down just south of this position, what I would like for them to do is kind of form a cordon here, because I'm worried about getting ambushed from Axis units here moving south. So that's going to be kind of their, the Corps d'Afrique's initial responsibility. We'll start there. Eventually, what I want them to do is move over here to Dawar Zaugaba, and they're going to take part in the assault on Bizerte. But in the meantime, I will need them to form it's basically going to look like this, and it's obviously I don't have enough units in this group to support a flank this size. But really what I want to do is ultimately have them hold a blocking position here and kind of clear out this area here. All right, so that's the plan for the Corps d'Afrique. And now we're moving on to actually the American Second Corps. So starting with I think this is Varsity. Yeah, the 9th Infantry Division. AKA Varsity. Sorry, give me just a second. I'm getting my stuff together. Yeah, 9th Infantry. Okay. So they are just a corps. They don't belong to part of an army. They're just part of the Allied forces. This is the... I should start with an overview at the corps level, or at the army and corps level. Yeah, let me back up a little bit. We talked about the French guys. Let's talk about the other units that I have. So starting with the First Army, and the higher in the organization you go, the more kind of general the objectives are going to be. I do want to break them down more, but in the meantime, so the First Army is going to be primarily responsible for attacking Tunis. They'll kind of move in this direction. This is the 8th Army down here, and they'll move up and form a flank here to block the units that are attacking into Tunis. And then the Second Corps, the American Second Corps, they are really going to be responsible for Bizerte, I think, and also kind of keeping the area north of the Tunis assault cordoned off. We'll see how it plays out, and I'll look closer. But so we looked at this is the American Second Corps. They're kind of on the northern edge. The First Army is right here in the middle. They're going to be the main shoulder that wedges in there. 8th Army has a lot of armored or mobile units, motorized units, which is going to be good. I think they're going to run into trouble punching the initial hole. They have a lot of stuff here, but if we can't find a point to exploit, that's going to be, not great to have all these motorized units and nowhere to go. So these are kind of my options here, and like I said, we'll look closer at that. All right, so that's the higher level overview. We talked about the Corps d'Afrique. Let's talk about Varsity over here. So 9th Infantry, north flank. of the Second Corps, they're going to be working on Highway 7. And we've got most of these are going to be, I think, fairly universal in terms of construction. The 34th is slightly under strength, but I think they have like extra vehicles or something like that. Got some core troops as well. So Varsity is going to be responsible. I don't know who will ultimately assault Mature, but their main responsibility is going to be taking Highway 7. So they'll assault through here, kind of secure this, really this area. We need to take Jeffna, and we need to secure Highway 7. I'm not sure if it's super important that I have Highway 7, but it will be good for the supply in any case. So we'll secure Highway 7. The Corps d'Afrique will form a flank protection on the north side here, and then eventually we'll be taking Mature as well, or coming in from this direction to assault Mature. Let's see something here. We need to see how the battle develops. Ultimately, I think that it is the Second Corps who's going to be responsible for Bizerte. It certainly makes the most sense based on their starting position. I want to secure Mature first, I think, and then basically I want to use these lakes as a blocker or like a barrier, a natural barrier to protect the Second Corps from any counterattacks that might originate from Bizerte. Who knows what's up here, but that's the plan. All right, so moving along, for my other Second Corps infantry, yes, so the Red Bull. So same, these guys are a little under strength. I think they have something extra. I think it's some recon units or something. Let me see if I can tell. So Varsity and the Big Red One both have identical setups. 48 guns, 48 men, 60 men. Yeah. Red Bull has a tank battalion, 51 tanks, already broken down into their individual components. I guess those are companies. I think so. I don't know. All right. So for their responsibility, they have this train. This railroad, which the parameter data in this scenario actually, hang on a second here, parameter data, if I recall, there is rail capacity of 2, which is really nothing. It might come in handy for a few key units, I don't know, we'll see. Mines, this isn't a labeled bit here, but if I'm looking at the map and I'm trying to think of where the dividing line is between Varsity and Red Bull, that leaves this kind of elevated position here, Jabal Antra. Sometimes what I like to do as well is that I have I have Google Maps up as well so that we can look and see. I'm not going to do that, but sometimes it is useful to have that available when I'm either playing or planning. So, all right. CD Nasir, we've got this kind of barrier in the middle, or this dividing line between the two divisions here. So I think that based on what I'm looking at right now, just assuming that we're going to follow the kind of contours of this rail line here, I think what we'll do is that this battalion or this regiment will be responsible for securing Jebel Entra. These guys will punch right through. Right. We have an armored division right behind them. So yeah, Entra and Ta'ent, we're both going to need to secure these pretty quickly, hopefully on day 1. Sooner if we can. CD Nasir shouldn't... I mean, once we've gotten here, we'll be able to take CD Nasir. And I think that we might end up actually... how would I put this? Kind of holding back the center punch so that I can get around the flanks. All right. I want to look at this armor division as well since I am here. This is the... Which one is this? This is the 13th Armored. No, 1st Armored Division. Yeah, 1st Armored Division, not to be confused with the 1st Infantry. There is a road here as well, which we'll need for the Armored Division. This is a... it is a medium bridge, so that means that we're not going to be able to support tanks on it, but it's only a stream. But it's across a minefield. I'll need to get my engineers up and running quickly. I have an entire engineer battalion here. I think that's the only one for Red Bull. Combat engineers. Yeah, okay. Each American division has a battalion of combat engineers. Okay. Alright, so basically Red Bull is going to kick down the door, and then the first armored is going to punch right through on this road, hopefully. Well, we could do the road or the train tracks as well. Tanks move fast on train tracks, and so do motorized infantry, so either way, what I want to do with first armored is punch through Timage here. That makes certainly the most sense from what I'm looking at here. So if we can get a hole right here, is there a connecting road between north and south? There is not really. Oh, I'll need to get these guys up. What are y'all doing back here? Oh, these are core troops, I think. Are they? Yeah, core troops. Okay. So that will come in handy, but they're not motorized. Womp womp. I do love some motorized engineers. Yeah, more core engineers here. And here's my HQ for... this is the HQ for both the British and American forces. Okay, so that's the plan for Red Bull and First Armored. Now for Big Red... well, it looks like they face the lightest, but I don't trust this. I anticipate, generally speaking, I'm anticipating stiff resistance everywhere. Everywhere I try to push. I think it's going to be particularly gnarly in the south, but I'm expecting it everywhere. So, I'm sure there's more mines than I can see on the map. I would put mines here if I were the Axis. I get my width back here probably. More mines through here, here. So I think that this is not going to be as easy as it looks. But yeah, I mean, can't be any more straightforward. We're moving. Their objective will be both sides of the Tyne River here. If necessary, since they're going to provide their first infantry is going to be the what is the word that I'm looking for? The borderline between Second Corps and First Army or Eighth Army. Which one is it? Yeah, First Army. So First Infantry, they'll kind of provide flank security, I think, for both divisions. But we'll see how it plays out once we start moving through this open territory here. Brush, broken, clear, more brush. I got some forests. So yeah, I think this is going to be gnarly. I'm not sure how much I want to hold back when it comes to the mines. I might just try to plow through as much as possible, but I will try to get my engineers on there. Alright, so that's Second Corps. We'll move on here to get to First Army. So, First Army, again, I'm responsible for taking on Tunis itself. And here we are starting with all the British units. I don't know much about like their unit designations, but they have cool names. These guys are the Northants. The Northants, and like here, these guys are the Welsh Guards. So like all their battalion names are cool. I think that's neat. One of the things that I really like about this game is that all of the units are like, I mean, there's some debate about the order of battle depending upon like what day of the month it was, all of that good stuff, but generally the units are very historically accurate. They really put a lot of attention to detail into that. Okay, so here we are looking at which one? This is 5th Corps is on the north, and 9 Corps is on the southern flank of 1st Army. 5 Corps consists of the Afrique Corps, 78th Infantry is up here. So this looks gnarly. The main thing that the 78th Infantry, just out of curiosity, they've got a few hundred more men than the American divisions. Got a lot more guns, less vehicles though. Okay, 78th Infantry, we are going to need you to secure, what road is this? Does it say anywhere? Gotta get this hill, obviously. I think this is also Highway 7. No, this is a different road. In any case, they need to secure this road. So that not only do they need to secure the road, the important thing that they need to secure is both sides of this river. I don't know what river this is. Magira, the Magira River. They all need to secure both the kind of north and south of the Magira River. There's a road that runs through here, so we'll take that, and I think that the regiment on the south here, yeah, that should be fine. I'm looking at what else we have, and I think that there's like a recon division, so let's take a look at that right now. What do we have here? This is, oh yeah, 25th Tank Brigade. They're part of the 5th Corps troops. So, 25th Tank Brigade. Alright, yeah, that should work out pretty well. They can work in support of the 78th. The 25th Tank Brigade can work in support of the southern flank of the 78th Infantry Division operating on the southern side of the Magira River. So in combination, which one is this? This is the 36th Infantry Brigade, I guess that is. Look at it again here. So the 36th Infantry Brigade, supported by the 25th Tank Brigade, will be responsible for securing Jebel Bu Aukaz. They'll form kind of like this line here, and they'll also take the southern edge of the Magira, and with the ultimate goal, I think, of getting to El Bathan. Yes, and I remember this here. There's a ford crossing. So even if they blow this bridge, I'm not completely familiar with ford rules. Let's look right quick. User ford. Fords. Alright, what are fords? Fords represent shallow places that allow movement by a unit in travel mode across otherwise impassable rivers. When a unit crosses at a ford, they pay an additional movement cost determined by the ford movement parameter value unless they're moving using a road that crosses at the ford, and thus are paying the road movement costs. Since fords allow movement, supply can be traced across a ford. Fords are permanent on the map and cannot be created or destroyed. Unit assaulting across a ford must be in travel mode. Great. So here at Jedida, there is a bridge. There are several bridges, but here at El Bathan, there's a ford. So I think they maybe can blow these bridges. I don't know. I don't know how this scenario is set up as far as bridge rules go. But in any case, back to the plan for the 36th Infantry Brigade, supported by the tanks. Here, that's where they'll land. And they'll form the northern flank for the push on Massacult. Okay, so the rest of the let's see, the rest of the 78th Infantry, that would be the 1st and 11th Infantry Brigades, will both be responsible for taking whatever this is, Long Stop Hill, this victory point, and this road that runs through the Tabora Gap, through Tabora, and up to secure this airfield. They'll also take Changui, I think, unless 1st Division gets to it first. Okay, so I don't know how long that's going to take. I think it might take 2 days or 3 days even. I don't know. And I'm looking at my kind of overall view for where I want to be as well, just in consideration of what the 2nd Corps is going to be doing. So it will look a little bit like this at some point. And I'm okay with having it kind of as a almost a cutoff like this. I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. Okay, so next up we have what is it, the 4th Infantry? So this is the 4th Infantry Mixed. I don't know what the mixed designation is in this particular case. You can see they've got a few different kinds of units, but they appear to be primarily infantry. Infantry, recon, what are these guys? 90? I don't know, they're just recon guys. Okay. They've got guns and AT and an engineer battalion. Alright. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong division. Okay, so they've got 2 infantry brigades and 1 tank brigade. A little bit similar to the way that the Americans had it up north. Okay, they also have recon. Good. All right, great. So they're fighting some Fallschirmjäger. So that's the German paratroopers. So that's going to be tough. If I'm kind of sticking with the general direction, this like kind of direction down here is a little bit weird, but basically we're going to keep it like this and this, and that means that the 4th over here is going to be taking Ain al Asker. So let's look at what that looks like. So they'll punch through, yeah, basically they just take this road. I'm sure that'll be super easy. They have this river over here as well, or the stream. So I might... Alright, so why don't we do this? 12th Infantry Brigade, I think, will move... I might assign them Peter's Corner. I just don't know if they have enough punching power to take kind of like this northerly direction, but I can always skip over to the east in support of the 10th Infantry Brigade. So yeah, basically we will secure this road here and aim for Ain al Asker. We gotta pay attention to these highlands here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some Axis lying, or, well, they'd at least be able to set up a defensive line up here and give me grief. So that would be the plan there. Let's see. Ultimately, I'm trying to figure out... Yeah, no. Okay. These are my motorized down here. I've got plans for them. Okay, so yeah, they'll take the 4th Infantry is going to take Ain al Asker and then kind of just move in like a northeasterly direction, continue on, look for any potential trouble spots, make sure that we secure this road network. I do need to make sure that the north flank, so it will go like this. Let me make this a little bit thinner here. The north, so they'll basically trace this way, and this way, I think. I don't know exactly what we're going to do about Peter's Corner. We'll see. I might send like a battalion or something up there. I'm hoping that there's not like a ton of Axis up here. If there are, we'll adjust and deal with it accordingly. Okay. Next up is going to be the... Who are these fellows? They're the 46 Infantry. They are part of the 9 Corps. Okay, so now we're getting into 9 Corps territory. There's this lake over here. We've got a bunch of... I don't exactly know what troops these are. I think that these are like the Vicky French troops. I don't think that they're Italian. Anyhow, we're going to punch these guys as hard as we possibly can. We're just going to jack them right up and run through this minefield. And basically, yeah, because they'll need to secure kind of like through here and then this road to make sure that the we can't get counterattacked from that direction for the 4th Infantry. So they'll provide kind of a side guard-ish here. And then they'll also run these roads. And because we're going to be punching through on the south as well, we can kind of use this lake as a natural barrier. What does the rest of this look like? Yeah, this is going to be a real brawl down here. Okay, so nothing too fancy there. It's going to be a dirty firefight, I think. All right, next up we have our motorized infantry. Alrighty, what's that hotkey? 46th, is that right? Nope. How do I do that? Just like this guy. Ah, okay. So we're on the 7th Armored Division. Nice. Got our 7th Armored, and what are you? 7th Armored. 6th Armored? Yeah, 7th Armored right up front, 6th Armored right behind them. We are going to do our best to rely upon simply shock tactics. I don't know if that's going to work. If the Axis are entrenched enough, then it could fall flat on its face and get ugly, but I have a plan for that as well. But the 2 armored divisions, I mean, I'll talk a little bit about where they are going to be headed. My overall plan, as much as possible, is to use my armored and motorized divisions to get to the major objectives as quickly as possible, or at least to find points of resistance as quickly as possible. There's a lot of roads in Tunisia, in the Tunisia area, so we gotta keep pushing in every direction available to expose every enemy point and like find exploitation points. All right, so let me see if I can change this setting right quick. Hang on, where is settings, hex highlights, contours, colors, light? Yeah, I think that's better. I do like the contours, but I think that they do not look quite as good. Settings, contours, widths, 1. All right. So for the armored divisions, what we're going to do is like this. We're busting through Point du Fos. That's the first thing. And then we need to secure Highway 3 and the intermediary road between Highway 3 and Highway 15. Jebel Zuhan is possibly going to be a problem for our flank down here, but I'm just going to try to bypass it and let the 8th Army deal with it. I'll look closer at that as I get down there. But so once we've got through and secured both sides of the Milan River and both of these highways, then we should have a pretty sturdy jumping off point for the drive to Tunis. So this whole area is going to be secured. I'm worried about the flank here. I have a plan to secure this area. The problem with it is that I don't think that plan is going to be implemented by the time that the armored divisions are going to be moving through here. Ideally, I would like to secure this intermediary road, the secondary road, so that at least these highlands we make sure that there are no axes there. I don't know. I think my best bet is probably going to be to bypass all this stuff and just drive as fast as I can. I'm not sure about that though. Supply is always a consideration. And, we might get to this highway. I haven't really looked at what the axis setup is, so we might get to this highway and it's a total nightmare to get through, or like we might decide to take one side or the other of the river if there's too much resistance in one direction. One of the kind of saving graces of this scenario is that, like, this is a destroy all bases scenario. Like, we are going for objectives, but kind of the way that they talk about it in the design notes and the scenario description is that you get most of your victory points by killing Nazis. Alright, so alright, so I've got the armor divisions. Yes, I wanted to talk about these guys here. I have this 2 parachute brigades, I think it is. Yeah, I have a parachute brigade with 3 parachute battalions broken up into 2 companies each. So they're not motorized. They don't have special movement values for terrain that I can tell. So I don't know exactly what to do with them because they're going to be slower than the armored troops. But ideally, what I would like to see them doing is securing like Jebel Zauhan. I think that that's a very appropriate task for them, but I don't know if they're going to get there fast enough. So maybe I would put them in conjunction. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if these count as core units that can be reassigned. If they can, maybe I'd attach them to 8th. I don't know if the game lets you do that. I know that there's a core attachment turn. I haven't played with it much. Anyways, so I think that what these fellows will do is basically just while the armored force pins the axis right here in front of Point du Fos, the airborne is going to run a flank from south to north and help punch through resistance there. Okay, so let's look next up at, what are these fellows? They are, nope, what are these fellows? Control Q. Is it going to tell me? No, sometimes this game is fickle about that stuff. Am I still in the same core? Yes, alright, that leaves me with the 1st Infantry. Yeah, I am so annoyed about that in this scenario. There's the British 1st Infantry, the American 1st Infantry, the American 1st Armored, and then I think in the 8th Army, yeah, they have the British 1st Armored as well. So, like, there's 2 of each ones. Okay. Oops, I closed my menu there. So, coming back, 1st Army, 9 Corps. This is going to be 1st Infantry. I guess that what the plan was for these guys is to secure the southern flank. I really don't want to get mixed up in this rough terrain over here, this like mountainous region. We do have the Moroccans down here, so I'm just going to I'm going to use the 1st Infantry, 1st British, to basically just secure Highway 4. The reservoir here forms a natural barrier. We want to make sure that this crossroads is protected so that we can't get counterattacked through Sidi Said. And we'll secure the southern flank of Highway 4 with the 1st American Infantry. Or sorry, 1st British Infantry. Coming back to our friends in the, I don't know what Roman numeral this is, XIXE Corps. We have the which one are they? The Division de Morocco, or Division of Morocco, I believe. So their thing is pretty straightforward. They're going to secure this mountainous area here. I really hope that they don't get in over their heads, because it would be a huge pain in the butt to have to come bail them out if they get bogged down in heavy fighting and can't do the job. So they have some like trails and stuff over here. You can see they'll cross these rivers, go around here, take highlands and all this stuff. There's lots of fighting to be done over here. Okay. Now, 8th Army. I almost feel like it would be better to kind of talk about the 8th Army in general terms, because their job is pretty straightforward. I'll zoom out and talk about it on the at the Army level, and maybe I'll look at it from a Corps level as well. We have 10 Corps, 30 Corps, supporting troops, not a ton. Yeah, I also have the New Zealanders. These guys are great. Morale B. I think most other units in... Let's see the Americans here. They probably... It talks about it in the design notes that basically the Americans sucked at the start of the campaign. 1st Infantry. Yeah, C. These New Zealand troops, though, they're morale B, so they're going to be... I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I'm going to do something with them. Okay, coming back to 8th Army. So 8th Army has almost all, like, motorized. We've got an armor division. This is an infantry division, but these guys are motorized. They all have trucks, so that sucked. That's sick. It's weird that they're not labeled as motorized, but I don't know. Maybe the Brits are just different. 201st. Oh yeah, they also have these kind of wackadoodle little groups, like the 201st Guards Motorized Brigade Group, 1,700 men. 23rd Armored Brigade, 51st Highlander Division. This Highlander Division, I think, is going to be... Oh no, they kind of suck. No, they're alright. They got morale C. But yeah, we've got a lot of motorized troops here, and like the plan is not terribly complicated. We're going to punch through this southern defense line here. Generally, maybe what I would do is split it by corps. Let me see, 10 corps. Well, I can't do it that way. 10 corps is a lot smaller. Maybe I could do it that way, but they have an armored division, and I'm going to want to make use of that. What I was basically thinking is that I would split it by corps, because my plan here, what I'm thinking at least, is take Highway 1 and use that as a cordon, because there are no victory points northeast of Highway 1. If we need some kills for the victory points, we can attack up here, but I think what I'd rather do is just kind of have like a patrolling thin defense line along Highway 1 and just don't let anything through there, and take everybody else from 8th Army to secure Tunis. So that's kind of the general plan with these guys. The trick is going to be that, like, it's going to be hard to punch a hole, I think, in order to exploit using their motorized capabilities. So some good and some bad there, but just looking at especially what I was talking about before, where I was like, we need to be very aggressive as we kind of move through to the different road systems. This is a good example of one. Like, once we do get to an exploitable road, like a breakout, let's say we start going down this road and we see that there's an enemy roadblock here, then we can go down this way instead, and explore up this way. And it would obviously get more kind of complex, that they all branch out, but the point is the same, is that we're looking for exploits that we can use for flanking and annihilation. Maybe the Highlanders take this mountain here. I don't know. The main thing I'm worried about for 8th Army is basically going to be how to get through this southern defensive line. It might not be as bad as I'm thinking it will be, but once I'm through there, uh, because everybody's motorized, like there won't. I'm hoping that there won't like be like a solid front line. Instead, we'll just mainly be mobile and reacting to the circumstances as they develop. But overall, what I would say is that Highway 1, we want to secure this whole mountainous area, Jebel Zauhan, Zag Hawan, Highway 15, I think we said that was going to be, yeah. This area should be mostly secure. The area Point du Fos and south will be secured by the armored divisions in the 1st Army in 9 Corps. So we just need to secure this mountain here, this mountainous area here, and then once everybody's made it to the point that I've discussed, our line will look something like this. Here, Chungi, Taraba, Mascalts, Ain Al Ascar, and Highway 13, and we'll have the cordon here. So basically, that should be what it will look like. Then we'll need to cut off here, and we can begin the assault on Tunis. I don't know if we'll be attacking Bizerte in tandem, or if that will be... I imagine so. Like I said, I think that's going to be the 2 Corps. Anyhow, I think that about sums it up as far as the operational plan goes. I'm excited to start this scenario. I think it looks really cool, and I think it's going to be fun. I'm going to try to possibly record some of it, but that's the planning. Thanks everybody for taking a look. Feel free to comment, and if you have any questions or feedback for anything that you've seen here, tips for new players, that kind of thing. Thanks everybody for watching.